Hey, what's up? This is Nick from ZappyCode.com with the August 2020 money report and just kind of overall report of how the business is doing. So, another month of losses. Not as big as last month, only 637 bucks this month. But the big thing was revenue was 273 bucks, which last month it was 156. So, over an extra 100 bucks this month. Now that number's cool, but I think the actual important number is the monthly recurring revenue, which according to Stripe and PayPal, those are the two places people can sign up for subscriptions, and it's at about 225. So to me, that's really exciting. That's like the number that counts. That's the number that I hope to one day get to 10,000 bucks is, making 10 grand a month. That would be amazing. So yes, I'm losing dough, but if you go to the money page, you can see I've set aside 14 grand that I've set aside to grow the business. So I expect to not be making money for a while. I'm putting everything I can. And that's why you see I got like big freelancer expenses and some other things. And that's because I'm trying to spend money to see what I can do to grow this. So with that, let's talk about stuff. So the freelancers did some dev work, and a big thing was I finally transferred video editing for myself. So I'm recording a lot of iPhone courses coming up, namely two big ones, and I'm getting like crunched for time, and I found someone that can help me edit videos over on Upwork, and it's been amazing. I had to go through a couple of people to find the right one, but that's been great. And then also we got a ton of help on the website. So that's good. Other notable things, I'm working on an app for ZappyCode, and I was trying to integrate, it shouldn't be Apple Pay, it should be sign in with Apple. So I bought this thing on how to specifically implement sign in with an Apple, and it was still a confusing mess. I finally just said, okay, maybe one day I'll implement this, but right now it's too much. This was really interesting. So this month I had two different places that I essentially bought an ad. So one was this podcast that offers a chance to buy an ad by paying with Bitcoin. So I'm obsessed with cryptocurrency and specifically Bitcoin, so I could not pass that up. So that was about $100 ish for that one, and it was a pretty interesting ad because with the way this guy's got his podcast set up, you just pay the $100, say what website you want it for, and he makes the ad for you. So I looked on my signups for that day and the day after, and I didn't get anything. So I'm guessing his podcast really didn't do anything. I think it was $100 down the drain, but it was okay, whatever. The next was I have a friend who has a really awesome newsletter, and he was going to start doing promo posts inside of his newsletter. And I thought, man, this is great. Anytime a newsletter does their very first promo offer, you got to be the very first one because everyone wants to check out that first one. And so it was about $250 if I remember right for that. And mostly wanted to support my friend. He had a great newsletter, but I thought this really is a chance. I think the newsletter goes to thousands and thousands of people. But at least from what I can tell, I only got one sign up from it, which was a little bit disappointing. So I don't know if that's just I wasn't getting as much traffic as I thought I would, or if just the website doesn't convert all that well. You can go look on Plausible. I have my analytics opened up, and I think it did okay, but both of these spends made me realize just kind of reaching out to a podcast or a newsletter, I don't know if this is necessarily money well spent. I'm going to be trying some other things like Facebook ads, YouTube ads, things like that, and seeing if I can see a little bit more like a concrete return from the money, because those ones is a little bit of like a shot in the dark, and they didn't really pan out. A really interesting stat is that according to Stripe, the lifetime value of someone who signs up for ZappyCode is about $53. So this is really interesting. For example, the one newsletter that I paid $200 to be in, I got one subscriber. So depending on how long they stick around, that could potentially be $50 worth of revenue for me. And so in that equation, right, paying $200 for $50 in revenue, okay, that doesn't really make sense. But that number should be very helpful for buying ads, Facebook, other places, or if I end up doing other podcast ad newsletter things, like if I basically count on every sign up being about $50, that can really help me understand whether, something was worth it or not. So 2 new expenses were a chat box that I put on the website. You can actually see it at the bottom corner here, and then also an email service. So I'm kind of, a little bit like concerned about if I should keep paying for, 1, the chat box, and 2, the email thing. So I've been sending out a weekly email sort of summarizing what happened the previous week on ZappyCode. If you'd like to sign up, it's zappycode.com/newsletter. But what I have here is that when people come to the website, there's this little chat box, and it will pop up a little message that says something like, hey, this is Robot Nick. I send out an email every once in a while. If you're interested, leave your email and I'll put you on the newsletter. And I get a decent amount of signups. It's like every week, I think I get about 30 to 40 signups, which is pretty cool. And so that's using this intercom thing, this little chat bubble right here. So I use that to send an email every week. And the hope is that, these people that sign up for the newsletter, eventually they'll sign up for ZappyCode. It's grown to about 140 people, and I've yet to have one person subscribe from that. So I'm a little bit worried that the free people are going to be free forever, and that, that having this chat box to get emails and then send them a weekly email, maybe it's just never going to pan out. Maybe I'm just not that great as emails. And again, maybe the landing page on the website isn't all that great. So I'm not sure if I'll keep the chat box. The other downside of the chat box, right, is that it is just another thing that gets loaded onto the website here. And so it kind of bloats things a little bit. And, I'm sure people I don't love websites that always have a chat box. Sometimes they're helpful. Sometimes they're in the way. So I don't know if I'll keep paying for that. I'm going to keep going at least for maybe a month or 2 and see if I can get someone through these emails to sign up. Because I was thinking even if I don't have the chat box, I could have some sort of, place on the site that people could sign up for the newsletter that's more prominent. Because right now, there's nowhere on the site that links to the newsletter. You have to go to zappycode.com/newsletter to get to it. So it's, someone has to directly get there via a link from me. So, those are the kind of thoughts on the money business side of things. A big thing this last month was adding the PayPal integration. I now have 2 subscribers on PayPal. So that was basically prompted by a customer came to the site and then messaged me and said, yo, I want to sign up. I don't have a credit card, but I do have PayPal, which I don't even understand how that happens. But there's people from all over the world checking out my website. And so this particular user was in Germany, and I don't know if, that's a common thing there, but I just thought, yeah, I should have PayPal as an option. And yeah, that guy signed up, and then I got someone else to sign up via PayPal. So I'm hoping that opens up. And so those are 2 ways people can sign up for a ZappyCode membership. And a third one is going to be this app that I'm making. So I'm making an app that's going to be for the iPhone, iPad, Mac, TV, and Apple Watch. Yes, a lot of Apple platforms, but I'm building it via Swift UI. And so it should be fairly easy to build for each of those. That's also going to be sort of a nice way for me to sort of prep myself and make sure I'm building a good Swift UI course. But anyways, that's going to be a third place that people can sign up. So I'm hoping going to be another lead generator as people go on the App Store and they search Learn to Code, and ZappyCode pops up. They download the app and then they sign up via Apple's subscriptions. And eventually it would be great to have an app in Android, although I'm not super strong in that world. That would be a place where I'd probably have to reach out and get some help with that. But I'm excited that I'm opening more ways for people to subscribe to ZappyCode, and hopefully all those options help people want to come through and be a member. So there you have it. That's about all I've got. I've probably gone on too long for this update, but just had a lot of things to say. Well, that's it.